All right, everyone. Get this. $1.15 billion. That's where the Mega Millions jackpot's sitting right now.
Fifth largest in the history of the game.
Yeah.
Wild.
I mean, that kind of money, it's got everybody buzzing, right? You see the headlines, you start daydreaming about what you do with all that cash.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going deeper today, beyond just the eye-popping numbers.
Right, right. This whole jackpot thing, it's like a launch pad into all this other fascinating stuff, like, the history of lotteries or how these huge jackpots, they just grab our imaginations.
Right. It's like using this one jackpot to understand something much bigger, right?
Exactly.
But okay, let's talk about those numbers for a second, because $1.15 billion, it's hard to even wrap your head around.
It really is. And then, you got to think about the odds, like the odds of actually winning this thing.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Let's just say you're more likely to get struck by lightning twice than to win Mega Millions.
No kidding.
Yeah, we're talking a 1 in 302,575,350 chance.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, lightning striking me twice while I'm holding a winning ticket.
Pretty much sums it up, yeah.
Well, that puts things into perspective. But you know what? I think a lot of people, they hear those odds and they still think, well, somebody's got to win, right?
Right.
So why not me?
That's the thing about lotteries, right? They tap into this thing we all have, optimism bias. It's like we kind of overestimate the chances of, good things happening to us.
So we see those jackpots and our brains, they kind of go haywire.
Exactly. All these possibilities start lighting up, even if statistically it's a long shot.
So it's like we all get a little swept up in the magical thinking?
A little bit, yeah. It's funny, there was this study, they found people who bought lottery tickets, they're actually more optimistic about like their jobs, their relationships, other parts of their lives.
Really? Just from buying a ticket?
It's like buying that ticket, it kind of gives you a little boost of hope. And that hope, it spills over into other stuff.
Huh. Interesting. So it's not just about the money. There's something emotional happening too.
For sure. It's the power of what if, right? Lotteries let us play out these fantasies, quitting our jobs, traveling the world, finally getting that dream house.
It's like a break from reality almost.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of dreams coming true, this Mega Millions jackpot, it got me thinking about some of the biggest lottery wins ever. We have this article here. It lists the top 10. And some of these numbers are just insane.
Oh, yeah, some of the stories behind those wins, too. Incredible. Like that $2.04 billion Powerball back in November 2022. Biggest jackpot ever.
That was the one in California, wasn't it?
Yep.
Can you imagine waking up one morning and boom, you're a multi-billionaire?
Life-changing, for sure.
And that wasn't even the only big win in California lately, was it?
No. Just last month, October 2023, another huge Powerball, $1.765 billion. Back-to-back wins like that. In the same state, super rare.
Talk about lucky. But you know what I'm kind of curious about? Those folks who win these mega jackpots and they got to split it. Like that $1.586 billion Powerball back in 2016, that one was split 3 ways.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder how those conversations go,
Mm-hmm.
Divvying up $1 billion. Even with family or friends, that's got to be interesting.
Definitely makes you think.
You know what? That actually brings up a question for you, our listener. If you won one of these monster jackpots, what's the first thing you do? Shopping spree. Pay off all those debts. Start a foundation, maybe. Take a second, really picture it. What's at the top of your list?
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what makes these lotteries so interesting. Like they tap into this thing we all want, a better future, a chance to like change our whole story.
Yeah. Almost like a modern day fairy tale, right? Except the payouts in the billions. And it's not just the winners who get caught up in it either, right? This Mega Millions thing, everyone's talking about it. Even people who didn't even buy a ticket.
Totally. It's like this shared thing, a moment where everyone's kind of looking ahead, thinking about the possibilities.
Oh, I've seen the lines at the convenience stores, all the office pools popping up. Everyone's buzzing about what they'd do if they won.
It's everywhere. I even saw this meme online comparing the odds of winning Mega Millions to like finding a parking spot downtown during rush hour.
Yeah.
It's kind of woven into our culture,
Yeah.
It's funny. It's something to talk about. It's a way to connect with people.
It's true. It's like we're all in it together, even though in the end, only one person gets the jackpot. And it's not just a U.S. thing either, right? This article says Mega Millions tickets, they're sold in 45 states, D.C., even the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Wow.
Makes you wonder if this kind of lottery frenzy, if it's happening in other countries too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
lotteries, they've been around forever. Their appeal is it's global. Some of the first ones ever recorded, They go way back, like ancient China, ancient Rome.
Really? That long ago?
Yeah, they use them to fund stuff like public projects, even wars.
Wow, so this whole idea of lotteries raising money, it's been around for centuries. Fascinating.
Yeah.
So how did we get from those early lotteries to, these massive jackpots, the multi-state ones we see today?
It's been a slow change.
Hmm.
In the US, the early lotteries, they were smaller, more local. But as technology got better, communication improved, this idea of pooling money to make bigger jackpots, it took off.
Makes sense. So it's like the internet, it really like supercharged the whole lottery thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Selling tickets online, sharing info fast, coordinating these drawings across states, it's all led to these mega jackpots, the ones everyone's glued to.
So we've talked history, we've talked about the cultural impact, but what about like how these lotteries actually work? I mean, besides just picking numbers and hoping for the best,
Right.
what's going on behind the scenes?
Well, the basic idea, it's pretty straightforward. You pick your numbers, and if they match the ones they draw randomly, you win. But there are some twists, of course. Like Mega Millions, you got to pick 5 numbers from 1 to 70, plus this special mega ball number from 1 to 25.
Right, and all those different number combos, that's what determines the odds, right?
Exactly. The more numbers you got to match, and the bigger the pool of numbers is, the lower your chances. But don't forget, there are different prize levels in most lotteries. You don't have to win the whole jackpot to win something.
True, true. You might match a few numbers, win a smaller prize. Probably why people keep playing, even though they know the odds are slim. It's that little hope that, hey, maybe I'll get lucky feeling.
It's a form of entertainment, and for a few bucks, you get to dream big, maybe win enough to treat yourself to something nice.
And you gotta admit, there's something exciting about watching that drawing, seeing if your numbers come up, even if you know deep down it's probably not going to happen. There's still that moment of what if.
Definitely, definitely. It's a shared experience.
Yeah.
Everyone holds their breath when they draw that first ball. The suspense builds with each number. And even if you don't win, hey, there's always the next drawing, another shot.
So it's like a cycle, hope, anticipation, keeps people coming back. But beyond just the fun of it, are there any bigger implications to these huge lotteries, like for society as a whole?
That's a great question. And it's one people have been debating for years. Some say lotteries are kind of like a regressive tax. They disproportionately impact lower income folks who might spend a bigger chunk of their income on tickets.
I see, yeah.
But then there are those who say lotteries, they offer hope, opportunity, even if the chances are slim. It's like a tiny investment in a potentially better future.
It's complicated, right? Valid points on both sides. I wonder if those opinions change depending on, how big the jackpot is. It's like $1 billion. It just feels different than a smaller lottery, you know?
I think so, yeah. These mega jackpots, they make the news, they capture everyone's attention in a way that smaller ones just don't. They become like events.
Yeah. It's like suddenly everyone's an economist talking about what they'd do with all that money, how it changed their lives, their community even.
And that's where it gets really interesting, I think. Because even if we don't win, these lotteries, they make us think about what's important, our values, what we prioritize.
Yeah, it's like this giant thought experiment. What would you do with unlimited resources? Travel the world, finally go after that passion project you've always dreamed of, or maybe focus on giving back.
Exactly. It forces us to face those big questions. What do we really care about?
Mm.
And in a way, that's valuable in itself, whether we win or not.
I like that. It's not just about the money, it's about the thinking it makes us do. And it brings us back to something we talked about before, right? That sense of possibility that lotteries, they kind of represent.
Right. Right. That anyone, no matter who they are, where they come from, they could suddenly have their whole life change. It's a powerful idea. It connects with people all over the world.
It's like that old belief in luck, that fate can step in and just change everything in a second.
And even if we know the odds logically, there's still that part of us that wants to believe it could happen. It's a reminder that life's full of surprises. Sometimes the unexpected does happen.
So maybe that's the real magic of the lottery, huh? Not winning, but the way it lets us dream, imagine a different future, even if it's just for a little while.
I think you've got it. It's about that hope, that belief that things can get better, and that's powerful, whether we win the lottery or not.
I like that. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one last thing to think about. We've talked about the Mega Millions jackpot, the history, the psychology, all that. But what are the jackpots in your own life? What are those dreams, those goals that keep you going, keep you reaching for something more?
Great question. Because after all, going after what we're passionate about, that's a journey worth taking, winning ticket or not.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you learned some new things, got some fresh perspectives. And hey, who knows? Maybe you'll even feel inspired to dream a little bigger today.